Hello everyone, this is Johnny C. Walker, and today we'll be having a look at some of my favorite figures from long ago. Pokémon Keshi. Now, among the plethora of Pokémon products, this was one of the most unforgettable and nostalgic line ever made. Circa 1996 onwards, I'm not entirely sure, maybe 98 or 97, we had here the Pokémon Keshi figures. Now, what are Keshi figures? Keshi figures are figural erasers that are the equivalent of your Muscle Man figures from long ago. So for those who used to collect Muscle Man figures, this would be the Pokemon version. We actually call them Pokeshi. Now, circa 1996, 97, 98 onwards, children in Japan or students in Japan would bring these figural erasers to class to, I guess, mix work and play, or study and play rather, to make the experience a little bit less stressful. There are even teachers or tutors that used to reward kids with Pokeshi every time they did well with their assignments. Now, I'm not entirely sure which came first, but a lot of these Keshi figures share the same model as what you would call the Pokemon Full Color Stadium wave of figures, or Gachapon. Pokemon Full Color Stadium figures are among the other figures or Pokemon products that we will cover sometime in the future, but the Pokemon Full Color Stadium figures would actually be the very first Pokemon figures I had in my childhood. In fact, I got a Taurus and a Dodrio that my grandfather got for me from a Gachapon machine, where you had to place at least 100 yen inside the slot, spin the wheel. The machine would go gacha gacha gacha, which is in fact where the Gachapon machine got its sound or onomatopoeic name from. And out pops a capsule with a random figure inside it. In fact, you never really knew what you were going to get. You don't even know whether the figure that you want would be inside that machine. So yeah, if you run out of luck from one machine, it's best to hop onto the next one. And ever since I experienced the magic of Gachapon or Pokemon Gachapon machines, my grandfather would have to shell out 100 or 200 yen, a bunch of them, every time we went out to, let's say, the train station or the marketplaces in Kobe. In fact, there was this, I forgot the name of the marketplace. I wish I could remember. But then they had tons and tons of these gacha machines over there. And they had already a plethora of Pokemon, different Pokemon figures. Not just full color stadium ones. I had some really cool Team Rocket, and it had Team Rocket, Charmander, Pikachu, and Ash inside the machine. I think it also had Ekans. 1998 was a really fun time to be a kid that time. All the Pokemon product, even the Skinny Godzilla was out that time. And yeah, I had my grandfather with me. He just passed away earlier this year, March, and I miss him so much. He is one of the most wonderful people you'll ever meet as a grandkid. We used to play a lot together. We used to ride the roller skates there in Kobe, stubbornly, not even knowing how to use them. My grandfather would get stressed, you know. He'd be like, "You don't even know how to use them. You gotta learn how to use them." Or he'd be like, "You gotta practice some more. That's the only way to learn." I remember back then we also went to a lot of the 7-Elevens, and they would have all these wonderful Pokemon magazines. I think there was this one called Zen Waza Daizukan. It was one of my favorite Pokemon books, which had illustrations of various Pokemon TMs and HMs being performed by the Pokemon themselves on other Pokemon, which was kind of funny and cool. Alright, back to the Pokeshi figures. A lot of these figures, if you noticed, they have some sort of imperfection on them. No matter how detailed or well detailed they are, there would be like little flashes of I would say rubber that they're still attached on them, or some of them are actually miscut. If you notice the Slowbro's ear, he kind of has a clipped ear. And that's not out of my mistake. Take a look at this Zubat figure. Wow, the detail they put into these. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there are colored versions of these called Pokemon Full Color Stadium figures. Just as expensive as these Keshi figures these days. Probably a little more expensive than some of them. Yeah. Now I'm not entirely sure how much Keshi would cost on eBay individually outside of Japan, but from what I've seen, some of them would cost about $6, $5-6, sometimes $4.75 depending on the character, and depending on what kind of Keshi they are. There are lots of Keshi that are not clear. By not clear, I mean they're not transparent, and those ones tend to be a lot cheaper. And part of the reason of them being cheaper is that the details are not as apparent. They're not exactly as cool as these ones, and they tear really easily. They're really, old school erasers that are soft and gummy, unlike these ones that are, they have a little bit of density in them. So it would take a little bit of an effort for you to like tear one of these. You'd have to twist it a couple times or what. You'd have to get like a pair of scissors for you to cut off even those tiny little flashes of extra plastic or extra rubber on them. Here's a very cool Charmeleon with a bump on his head. Still one of my favorites. I'm kind of tempted to remove that little flash on his head, but then it might damage the color on the Keshi. I mean, like some of these Keshi don't really have a true color. I mean, like if you cut it, what you would find underneath it would be a transparent version of it. I mean, the one on top might be like a paint coating of some sort. This is a pretty cool one. I like the way they sculpted it. It's also very difficult to find Pokeshi figures, clear Pokeshi figures that are not beaten down by the sands of time or the powerful and relentless hands of 7 to 13-year-old kids. Which is why if you find a bag of Keshi at a discount lot or in one of those stores like Book Off or Mandarake, I highly suggest that you just grab them. You might not have a tough time trying to find, I guess, less injured Keshi figures from stores like Mandarake, but then again, they would cost more individually, I would say, or even in small baggies if they are that clear and unharmed, uninjured. Look at this Grimer. I really love the way the light just finds its way through the figure. The details really pop out. I would be so excited seeing this as a kid. Now as an adult, I'm less excited. Well, I am still excited, but I guess I experience less of it because my eyesight is really bad. I have terrible vision. I mean, like, very high astigmatism is not a very good thing, right? Then look at how wonderful this Vulpix is. I love the perfect blend of soft and hard details. It kind of looks like a gummy bear, doesn't it? I bet if I were a kid, I'd be chewing on these and ruining them, like every other kid. But now I know exactly how valuable they are, nostalgically, but also price-wise. These aren't cheap. I wouldn't call them cheap in this day's economy. I highly encourage Pokemon collectors out there to grab one of these or grab a bunch of these Keshi. You'll really fall in love with them. Now up next we have a purple Rhydon, which I got from one of my my antique collections, which has like a bunch of these purple Keshi or Pokeshi figures. It's called the Pokemon Trainer Figure Collection. A story that we will cover another time. But then, yeah, if you have a look at this Rhydon Pokeshi, you'd notice that there are some imperfections on it, despite it even coming inside or coming from one of those premium collection boxes that you had back then. This is also a very good option for those who can't really afford to get those Pokemon Aldi figures. And a lot of those Aldi figures these days are, beaten down as well, because we used to play with them as kids, and the paint details would really be easily scuffed off of those figures. Look at this Charmander. It's so cute. I really can't handle the uber cuteness of this little goober of a Lizardmon. Fire-breathing Lizardmon. But then, yeah, here comes one of my other favorite Pokemon. Revisiting childhood memories here. Poliwrath! Yeah. How many of you guys like Poliwrath? He's a very strong Pokemon. Back in the old Gen 1, Gen 2 games, he's one of those Gen 1, Gen 2 tank bazooka type Pokemon that you could teach other than fighting moves. Blizzard or whatnot to take down dragon type Pokemon or even plant type Pokemon that seem to have the elemental prowess over water type Pokemon. But here you have Poliwrath who can learn Blizzard. What more can you ask for? He could even learn Hypnosis. I really want to get a Pokemon full color stadium figure of that Poliwrath. Next we have one of the most common Pokemon you'd ever encounter, Pidgey. Really cute though. I love the details on this one. Pretty sure there is a Pokemon full color stadium version of this Pokemon. I do have one. Which one do I have? Pidgey or Pidgeotto? We'll have to cover that next time. If I could get like a bag of Pokeshi figures of common Pokemon like Pidgey, Rattata, Geodude, and the likes, that would be so much fun trying to build one of those small foldable dioramas. I'll make one of Palatine. I guess the route from Palatine going to Viridian Forest, or even one of Viridian Forest. That would be fun, having all the Caterpies and stuff. Look at this dragon there. Oh wait, hold on, Dratini. Ha! I'm sorry. It's a very cute one. Fun fact, by the way, Dratini is a pretty big Pokemon. How tall is he? 4 feet? I forgot. I forgot how tall Dratini was. このポケモンの高さは覚えませんけど、本気で高いポケモンですね。背が高いポケモン。So yeah, it's a very cute Pokemon. I really had a hard time trying to capture this Pokemon in Gen 1. I mean, even in I'm not even sure if it was blue or red or Pokemon Yellow. I couldn't capture Dratini. It took me a long time to even find him. Now we have a blue version of Kabuto. Oh, Kabutops, I'm sorry. Yeah, just as detailed. By the way, fossil Pokemon are getting a lot more popular these days. I guess we're gonna revisit whatever we experienced in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet of past and future, or ancient and future type Pokemon. I hope that's the next thing. That's the next frontier. Other than the remakes of, hopefully, Johto and Sinnoh and Unova. Who do we have next? Porygon. This is a really good one too. Although, I guess away from the light, which you'll see later, is very hard to find the discerning details of this figure. But like that one right there, it's hard to tell. Well, but then, yeah, I remember having to play in the game corner and get as many coins as I can to earn that Porygon. Oh, by the way, another favorite fossil Pokemon, Aerodactyl. So cool. I mean, I remember the Pokedex entry for this Pokemon. This is not even his full form. That's not his true form. This is just his resurrected form. So yeah, I highly encourage reading the Pokédex as well. You're gonna learn a lot from that. I love the details on this Aerodactyl. I'm kind of tempted to do a mold of this one, or find I guess a matted or non-clear version of this Aerodactyl figure and paint over it. I mean, like, there is a full color stadium Aerodactyl that I've been eyeing. The price is not as reasonable. I think I remember it went for 12 bucks. Goodness. And this Keshi right here, this Aerodactyl Keshi costs, I guess, around $6-7 individually on eBay outside of Japan. My goodness. Well, here, by the way, is Windy. In Japanese, his name is Windy, but his name is Arcanine in English. And for those who remember his Pokédex entry, he's meant to be like a legendary Pokemon, right? Maybe there is a species of Arcanine from long ago, or a certain Arcanine, like that one Arcanine that was legendary. Yeah, and there's even this one image of the 4 Pokemon in the Poké Center. It was on a frame. I don't know if it was like a grotto of some sort, but then it had like 3 legendary birds and Arcanine. I think the translation for that was, or the anime version of that was not exactly translated well, because it looked like Articuno, but they Professor Oak called it Ho-Oh. So yeah, I'm not sure. Here, by the way, is Dugong. Really cute Pokemon. In red, by the way. I think somebody tried to paint this before. That's not me trying to paint it. But I don't even know if I should paint it. Maybe I'll get some paint thinner to remove that, but might even damage the figure. Alright, here we have Lapras. If you had one of these, you'd be one of the coolest kids around. If you had a red Lapras, I don't know. If you had a blue Lapras, like our Charmander earlier, I guess you'd be quite a popular kid. Oh, by the way, we have their Nidoking riding on Lapras in the background. It's a very beautiful figure. I have the full color version, the full color stadium version of this, but I think it was the attack version of this Lapras right here, because it had its fin up, and I don't remember if his mouth was open. He was kind of transparent too. We'll have to cover that in the next Pokemon figure or collection episode. I still don't know what to call this segment right here, but I'm planning to do a segment covering all sorts of old Pokemon merchandise from long ago, toys, most likely toys, because I really love collecting toys. Actually, I love sculpting too, so yeah. And now for one of the most coveted Keshi figures out there, Charizard. This one's a pretty clean one too. It has a few flashes on its wings and stuff, but yeah, I really love this one. It's the blue one, or like I would say, it's not even blue. It's green, or is it in between? What's the name for this? Cerulean? Jade? I'm not entirely sure. He's closer to blue though. Yeah. That is one of my favorite Keshi. You could actually detach his wings, right? And he has this little peg that would go into his back to keep his wings on. I guess this was one of the Keshi that you wouldn't bring to school, because you'd probably lose the wings, or you'd have another kid take it away from you, or mess it up while playing with it. Yeah, I used to lend my toys to other kids as a kid, and I would never get them back in one piece. But then again, it wouldn't be even safe at home, because sometimes our figures would magically disappear when mom's relatives visit. Oh well. And here is one of the rarest Pokeshi figures that I have. This is the confetti-filled gold Blastoise Pokeshi figure, clear Keshi figure that I have. I'm not entirely sure how much this costs individually on eBay outside of Japan, but then we'll have to research it later, right? I don't want to give the wrong price. And I have no plans of selling this. It's a really, really cool figure. And I like the way he sits on the light. Oh, hold on. If you are one of those folks who would, I guess, kind of get exhausted from spending so much on Pokemon cards, and are trying to collect Pokemon just to collect Pokemon, the Keshi line would be a very good option for you. They're highly collectible. Not that many people outside of Japan know about them. So whether you're a Pokemon collectible aficionado or not, I highly encourage you to grab some of these, because pretty soon I think people will be buying them out, and you'd have a very hard time trying to acquire them for the cheaper price that they should go for, or they would have gone for back then. And yeah, they're pretty fun to collect. There's like even more than 150 of these. I think there are Gen 2 Pokemon that are included. But then again, the original 150 Pokemon hits harder, doesn't it? That's why we have Pokemon 151. Oh, 151 by the way. Pokemon 151. I was kind of hoping that the prices for those booster packs won't go as high as they are right now, considering the pull rates. It would have been a lot more fun, but then still, I love and absolutely adore Pokemon 151, even though I busted a wallet doing so. Collect responsibly, ladies and gentlemen. Don't starve. Thank you so much for watching. This is Johnny Seawalker signing out. Remember, you and I, we are the light of the world. And by the power of soulfulness, the power to see each other soul to soul, the power to see and value each other soul to soul, shall we achieve true love and harmony, defeating the darkness, the void, and the sadness caused by anger. Ladies and gentlemen, always be soulful. I love you all. Cheers. May your soul and mine, our souls, shine light upon this world.